Welcome back to our channel. I'm Shawnee.
I'm Matt.
And today we are going to be talking about our June TBR, our June books that we want to read and complete. So hopefully you will keep us accountable on the books that we are wanting to read so that when we do our wrap up halfway through the year, these books are on that list. So my first book that I want to talk about is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I have read one Bachman book previously, and it is A Man Called Ove. And I loved it so much. His writing is just, this is translated, so it's weird to say that, but his writing is just so intriguing. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's refreshing, his perspective on humanity, I guess, because it's both realistic and deep and lighthearted all at the same time, which is, and I've only read one of his books, but I've heard that his writing style carries on through his other books too. So I can't wait to read this one. So this will probably be the first book that I pick up that I haven't started yet in the month of June. So I'm not sure completely on the plot, the synopsis on this one. And I don't think that I'm going to read the back of the book yet because I've just heard so many good recommendations on this. I just want to jump into it and just get to know the characters and the plot and what's happening through the words of the author and not the words of the publisher, if that's who writes this. Or whatever. So I'm excited to talk about this after I finish it.
Yeah. So the first book on my TBR for this month is, I'm actually already in the middle of it. I want to finish Shadow of the Gods. This has been great so far. I'm currently just over 10% through. And I've been enjoying the story. I've been enjoying the characters, the writing style, the plot that has happened so far has been pretty fascinating. I just need to find time, make time to sit down and read, and it's hard whenever I have busy weeks and just other things that I need to do. I need to edit videos, I need to hang out with family, I need to, so many other things. I would love to just stay at home and read all day, but
same.
Life must happen. But anyways, this is a Viking-inspired story that has elements of found family, loss, and like a mysterious enemy that I haven't come across yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to find out what is in store through the rest of this book. So this will be the first book that I want to finish in the month of June.
So my next book on my list is A Feast for Crows. So I'll be honest, I thought it was A Feast of Crows. And then recently Matt said A Feast for Crows, and I was like, oh no, I've been calling it the wrong book. But he has known what I've been talking about, and now I know what the correct title is. So this is the fourth book in A Song of Ice and Fire series. I am no longer calling it a Game of Thrones series because that is incorrect.
I'm so proud of you.
That's the TV show, not the book series. I was like, I know that now. I'm learning things and I'm adapting. But yeah, so I have, surprisingly to myself, I've been enjoying this. Whenever Game of Thrones was coming out on HBO, I didn't watch it. And I was like, that's not for me. I'm not interested in that. I heard people talking about it, raving about it. And then at the beginning of this year, I picked up the series A Song of Ice and Fire and immediately loved it. And I was like, what was wrong with me? But I'm so glad I picked it up. I can't wait to get into more of this story and see how much everybody hates each other even more because that's just what's happening. I can't wait to see how, well, I feel like this isn't a spoiler, how much the dragons have grown from the end of the last book to this book, because I just can't wait for them to be big and destructive. So that hasn't happened yet. They were like, I would say like teenage-sized dragons currently. Like they can breathe fire, but they're not big enough to ride yet, where I'm at in the story. So this is the next book that I want to pick up in June and finish and complete.
So I am in the middle of the second book in A Song of Ice and Fire. I almost called it Game of Thrones. I'm in the second book of A Song of Ice and Fire. And I've been listening to it on Audible while I'm at work or driving. It's like, that's the best thing about Audible, about audiobooks.
Yeah.
Just being able to read a book whenever you're cooking or driving or grocery shopping or whatever. But anyways, this is the second book that I want to finish this month alongside Shadow of the Gods. These are my fantasy reads for this month. I mentioned in our last video that I've seen the entire show. I've seen all 8 seasons. And we are going through the show together. We just started season 2. But I've actually never read the books before. And so I wanted to get the source material. I wanted to read George R.R. Martin's writing and his story and the way that he intended it. And then I would like to draw comparisons and see the differences between. But it's been a great story so far, and I love how Martin is able to write characters that you just loathe so much. I cannot describe to you the things that I want to violently cause upon the Lannisters.
All of them.
All of them. All the Lannisters, specifically Joffrey.
And Jamie too.
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah, all of them. There's all the Lannisters just, oh my gosh, so much hate. But that's a great accommodation to his writing. He's incredible. Just the fact that he can write these antagonists, these just evil people that you want terrible things to happen to, and you wish so many bad things upon them. And I've never experienced a feeling like that reading a story. But, oh my goodness. This story has been great to watch and read. So if you haven't picked this up, I would definitely recommend it. The first book is called A Game of Thrones. And I mean, it's a great story. Yeah. We've both been really enjoying it.
The third book on my TBR for June is the third book of the Court of Thorns and Roses series. This one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I just finished the second book. I have predictions on what will happen for this book. Maybe I will do a review with spoilers in another video, so people that have already read it, we can talk about it in the comments. But for those of you that haven't, I would suggest the series. It's a lot of fun. It has some steamy scenes in it, so if you're not into that, maybe stay away from it. It's not too bad. It's just, so far it's been like 2 scenes or whatever out of the entire series. So it's not a lot. It's something you can skip over if that's too much for you. It's a lot of fun. It is in like a fairy style world that is connected to the human world. And so there is that clashing of races and who thinks is the better one and who each other thinks is the more evil race kind of thing. But then the overall arching protecting of the world in general, and then just the combining of the races. There is mental health kind of discussed in the books a little bit. It's a very underlining tone, but it's definitely there. Romance, of course, with those steamy scenes. I've just really been enjoying this, so I can't wait to pick this book up.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel like a popular read for women currently. Do you know any guys that have read it?
I follow a couple of guys on YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that have read it and have good things to say about it. I don't know that I would ever want to pick it up unless you just say, babe, you have to read this book.
I don't think you would enjoy it. It does have war scenes. It does have battling, fighting, training for battle type things with the Fae, which is really cool because they have some different abilities in the magic system.
Is romance a big part of the plot?
There's a lot of more flirting than romance, I would say, in the plot. I
think I might be able to do that. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big romance guy.
Yeah. You would enjoy the second one. Has a lot more war elements, and I'm hoping that this one does too. The first one's way more romance, and you'd have to get through that one.
Yeah, I would honestly skip the romance.
Yeah, just read the second book. It's fine.
Okay, so the third book on my list to get through this month is The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is the third book in the Percy Jackson series. I finished the second book in May. This month I want to get this off the list. I will start this, hopefully by the time this airs, this is on. I have started it. I'm currently, while recording, waiting for my hold on the audiobook from the library. So as soon as that becomes available, I'm going to jump on it and I'll check this one off the list. I'm really excited to get through this one. I've been loving Rick Riordan's writing.
He really has.
It's been so much fun. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. There are so many things that make it fun. I mean, the mythological creatures that Percy interacts with, the friends that he's making, the relationships that are being built, I've been thoroughly enjoying. The elements of humor throughout the book are right up my alley, just silly, goofy.
He has audibly laughed several times when reading through these books, and I love that.
It's been so much fun. When I finish the series, I'm gonna have to post a video talking through it because I have a lot of thoughts just on the first 2 books, and I'm sure that I'll have more to say after finishing the series. So yeah, the third book for this month is going to be The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan.
The next book on my TBR is the 5th book chronologically in the Chronicles of Narnia. You don't have to read them chronologically. They were released in a different order, I believe. But I've been enjoying them chronologically. It just makes sense, obviously. So the 5th book is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. There is a movie. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what happens here, but these are so fun. I talked about in our last video how each of the books have just such a sweet moment where a character or several characters will meet with Aslan in a very unexpected way, and how he's the representation in these stories of Jesus. It's just so fun. The magic system is fun. It's just, I mean, it's definitely middle grade, but it's so magical. And okay, so when you say magical system, like, yes, it is magical, but I say it's magical in the way of like admiration of like there is another world and expectations and possibilities. The way that you kind of saw things when you were the age of these characters and young and thinking like, I can do anything in the world and I can be anything, kind of like magical way, not like a physical sense of magic kind of sense in this book. So I'm excited to continue this series. I picked it up last year for the first time, so I think that this will be fun.
If you know me, and if you've been watching the channel, you know that we both, but I particularly, read a lot of fantasy books, and I don't read a lot of not fantasy books. So this one might surprise you. My next book is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I think the memory card's about to get full. Hold on. So our memory card died. No, it didn't die.
Got full. It's like the equivalent to dying.
So our memory card filled up. So dumped that footage, and we're back. My next book is a not fantasy book. It is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This is a book that I heard about in high school that kind of piqued my interest, mostly because it's post-apocalyptic, and that's a draw for me. That's what grabbed me first. And then I actually, fun fact, started this book and then got bored of reading, so stopped reading it.
Like reading in general, or just reading The Road?
Reading in general.
Okay.
So in this book, you follow a father and son in a post-apocalyptic world and the conflicts that they have to overcome. And that's about all I know about it.
That's all you really need to know.
I don't know much more other than it doesn't have chapters. There are no chapters in this book, which is interesting because I'm the type of reader that when I read by chapters. Like, I will force myself to stay up even if I'm dropping my book on my face. I will force myself to stay up and finish at least the chapter that I'm in. Like, it's just a thing about reaching milestones for me. So this is going to hopefully break that habit for me. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. Very popular book. I think some would consider it a classic. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner. She's read it and she loved it.
I did.
I know that a lot of other people have read it and loved it. If you've read it and you loved it, let me know. And if enough people tell me, I might bump this up on my list and read it sooner than later. But yeah, this is the 4th book on my TBR for the month of June.
Can't wait to talk about that one together.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
The last book that I have on my TBR for June is the first book of the Greenbone Saga. This is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I am 3 chapters into this, and I am so excited to get through more of it. Her writing style is just so much fun for me. The way that she doesn't just describe the magic system, but the way she incorporates us figuring out how this world works in the plot. I kind of described that some in our last video as well, but it's just so entertaining. The magic system is based upon the stone of jade. Is that correct? When you have it, like when you're physically holding it, you can like harness its power, it seems like so far. So the more jade that you have, like people wear it as jewelry, they hold it, and I don't know how else they incorporate it, I'll find out more. But that's the more power that they have, and it's kind of mafia based. Like there's people that have more power than others, and they are controlling the culture, the society, the city that they're in because they have a long history in their family, and it just keeps getting passed down. So Matt has finished this first book, and he told me that I would really like it, and so far I do. He's correct, and so I can't wait to read this in June and finish it. But yeah, that's my complete list for what I want to read in June. I hope I can get through all of it. I feel like some of these are, as Matt calls them, chunkers, bigger books, but I'm hopeful that I'll get through all of them. I'll let y'all know.
So the last book on my TBR is also a not fantasy book, but I've been wanting to read this book for quite some time. I've heard so many great things about this book and this author's writing style, and it's one that she mentioned earlier. A Man Called Ove.
Ove?
Ove.
Y'all let us know. Ove? I think
Ove.
when I read it,
we say Ove.
I think whenever I read it as Ove, and then I learned that it was Ove, and so I have a hard time going back from that.
So this is a Frederick Bachman novel, and we follow, I believe, a family who lives next door to Ove, who is a grouchy old man. And throughout the book, you start to learn more about him and his just his life. And I've heard that getting to know Ove and getting through this book has been or is a beautiful experience. I know that it's known to make people cry. I'm not a big crier, so if Frederick Bachman can make me cry with this book, I will give him a high five. But yeah, very excited to get into this one. It's not much of a chunker. I think I could definitely get through this one rather quickly. But yeah, this has been on my list to read for quite some time. I'm a sucker for fantasy and new worlds and action and war and stuff like that. And I've been in that world for quite some time. And I think the book to pull me out of that is going to be this one. I've been anxious and ready to get into this story just because of it's pretty notorious in the people that I pay attention to, the people that I watch on BookTube, and the people that I follow have nothing but praise for this book, nothing but praise for Bachman as an author. And yeah, I'm just so excited. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all of these books. I will say that putting 5 books on my TBR is kind of a lofty goal. I don't know that I've ever read 5 books. Well, 5 novels in 1 month. I know that I've, including manga, have read 5 in a month, but just literary, not manga stories, I haven't read that much in a month, and I'm excited to see if I can do it. It's going to be, 1, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. And 2, I'm excited to finish these stories and to be able to talk to you guys about it, let you know what I think. We're both really excited for these books that we've got on our radar and we're going to pick up next. What books are you guys going to read soon? What books do you want to read that you will one day read? You know, what's your long-term TBR, I guess? You can let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to do something fun today.
Yay!
Bye!
Bye!